I feel like this is just becoming a theme today.
I definitely had it in
No
drawers.
notes and no.
What was it?
No theme.
Something to do with like vehicles.
What? That doesn't make it any easier to understand.
Oh, that was it. Speed. I am Speed. Welcome to the Sunday Movie Marathon, episode 118. I'm Max. We're coming in fast, hard, and, straight
Furious.
back in it again, right back at it again, like the good old Taylor Bolt. We're back for more. You thought we were gone? No. Easter Sunday, back on it. The Lord's Day. Jesus rose, and you know what? So did we.
Yeah.
Too right.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jesus. What the fuck is this, by the way?
What are you doing?
I wondered why he had them like...
What are you doing?
Because otherwise they don't fit.
Oh.
Just fucking with the DVDs.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, they are in like an awful place because there's some... Because it's an awful bookcase. So some of the like sections, the only Blu-rays will fit in there like the right way around. So I've just got them facing like case first.
Yeah, honestly, it's mad, and I hate it every time I look at it. Every time I come here, I'm
I
like,
don't even
Jesus
notice
Christ.
these ones though. That's what makes it like. And
I'll
it's only on
replace it
these
eventually.
3 shelves.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So we've been away for a while.
We have been away for a while.
Anything
Oh my God, it
new
feels
that
like
happened?
forever.
I know there's something new, but I know there are a lot of new things because 3 weeks away.
It's
bound to be
Easter.
something. It's Easter. What the fuck are you
Yeah.
talking about? I'm asking if anything's new, and you're like, it's Easter. Like, what the fuck
It's
are you
Easter.
talking about?
That's what's new. It's Easter.
You're insane.
That is true. It is Easter.
Thank you. It's Easter.
What? So? So? Oh my
I don't know,
God. We're on top form tonight, baby. We're
No
really back in the
notes,
swing
no
of things.
yeah,
no notes, no nothing. We're just ad-libbing here. This is, if you come to expect something from this podcast, do away with all
Yeah.
of that. This is completely off the cuff.
About 1 million films were watched in the time that was gone.
Yeah, if you think we only watch movies for this podcast, you are sorely mistaken. We're watching movies all
That
day,
is
every day,
Yeah.
baby.
I mean, I have to say, I
That is
definitely
true.
watched a lot less while we took a break.
I know
Yeah,
you
Probably
have.
only watched
Yeah.
about 10 in the last month, maybe.
God damn.
I think yeah,
No, I say
maybe.
God damn, like that's like not even a normal amount. That's still more than average,
Yeah.
I would say.
And 3 of them were for the podcast. So
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, like
Yeah,
four
I-
of them even.
No, I meant not including what we did
okay.
for the
Yeah.
Not
podcast, just in the break we were off.
I probably only watched about 5 then, right? I definitely didn't watch more than. Oh, well, I mean, if you watch half of the Lego movie, I guess that counts as still watching a movie. So
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
okay, we'll go with it.
Yeah, couldn't sleep a few days ago, so I woke up and was just like, fuck it, I'm going to watch a movie.
The
So
worst
I put on the
part
Lego
is
movie.
I felt like I was in some sort of fever dream because it's like 6 o'clock in the morning and all I can hear is everything is awesome, and I was like, what the hell is going on? It's just Chris going, can't sleep.
Cracked open the 4K.
Clown will eat me.
Mm.
What a morning that was.
Just like was it
One morning.
like yesterday? I woke up and Chris has like really gotten into Cheers.
No, it was
So all I can
this
see
morning.
is straight up on the TV
Oh, was it
there.
this morning?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Just this morning you've watched the whole season.
No, that
No.
was since Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah, he started watching it when he got ill, and then he couldn't sleep yesterday. Well, kind of my fault, but he couldn't sleep. And I got up and all I could hear was the Cheers theme song. It was horrible.
Yeah, you've been ill. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. That you
Planned,
have, man.
like, the
Then
time off
you're like, yeah, I'm
perfectly.
sort of better now. Max, come on over.
Yeah, I'm pretty much fine now.
Oh yeah, I was also never ill. I'm just suffering from biological women problems, which I love. Hence chocolate.
Yeah, I thought I timed the break perfectly because there was going to be like a couple weeks where I was like going to be really busy at work, and then I had 2 weeks off, and I was like, come back, first day back at work today, we're recording, so it'll be perfect. Now, I had a really stressful week in Brighton, like what was supposed to be like a nice trip. For some reason,
Oh,
was
yeah.
just constant, non-stop, and stressful.
Yeah, like we thought.
And
Yeah,
then
we
we
thought.
come
Say
back.
constant nonsense.
Well, yeah,
No,
that
we just
too.
thought it was going to be nice, and then we actually came back more stressed out than when we
Yeah.
left.
And
That's
then
Brighton for you.
came back, and a couple of days later, I got really ill. So I was
Yeah.
like, the last 3 or 4 days of my time off was pretty much just bedridden.
Yeah, you always have some like harrowing tales to tell
Yeah.
when you go to Brighton.
Yeah, the amount of like wind at Brighton as well. I
It
don't
was a
really have
good
anything
time.
to tell from this time. Just
Yeah, I mean, anything's
Yeah.
an improvement on going on the lash and then fucking just staying up all night and then deciding I'm going to go see the Minions movie.
Yeah, no, that
that's
didn't
true.
happen
Everything's
this time.
tame in comparison. You are correct.
But we did go out, went to a cool bar that like had like a jukebox that you could connect to on your phone. You got like 2 or 3 songs you could queue up every like half hour.
Yeah,
That was
I
fun.
didn't realize that my queue of jukebox was actually going to come up with anything.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Nice.
I got annoyed because I put the wrong song on at one point.
You didn't put on Painkiller by Judas Priest, did you?
Nah.
You can't even hear anything because we're in this like beer garden.
Yeah.
And you can't hear anything out there, so you have to go back into the bar to hear the music that you put on.
Were you there, Darcy, when we went to like a bar one time and we queued up one of our mates queued up Painkiller by Judas Priest like 10 times?
Nah, this was
Okay.
pre-Darcy age.
I was pre-Darcy age.
This is
Damn, yeah,
like
that
2016. This is like when we first started going out.
that was a dark time. That was a really dark night for all of us, I think.
That's pretty sad, man. I'm not gonna lie.
So yeah, some good weeks. Fun was had. Bows.
Yeah. We got engaged. That was...
You dick. You
Wow,
fucking
no-
dick.
Thought I'd bring it up.
I was trying to like ease you into it because I didn't
I
know
know.
if you like wanted to mention it on the podcast. I was like, maybe they want to keep this private. And you were just like, you threw it away as if like with all the vivacity that I assume you made the proposal with. Want to get married? Yeah, all right.
I knew you were trying to build up to it, but then I accidentally moved away from it.
Yeah,
So I
I
thought
was
I'd
sort of.
Steer it back in.
Yeah, so I just thought
That was
he
the
doesn't want to talk
worst
about it.
steering in.
We're talking about Mad Max, a movie all about like car crashes and shit, so I think it's the perfect way. Just crash into it.
Speaking of car crashes,
What into the engagement or into the car?
this does not bode well for the wedding.
I don't understand what Chris is talking
He's
about.
gonna ride in on like fucking on the war rig. Gonna just crash into the wedding.
I mean, at this rate,
Screaming, "Witness me!"
yeah, at this rate, I'll
And
be
we're all
happy
there,
with
like
that, to be honest.
that's why we're here, mate.
Don't do it. It's the planning
Don't
is
do it.
so the planning is so stressful.
So that's all it's been, just like, oh, just this one brief flicker of light and loveliness in our lives. Can't believe we love each other this much. 3 weeks of just pure stress.
Yeah, very much.
Great.
We had
No,
an
that is actually true. It's actually like ever since that day, it's been like constant stress.
I loved hearing Chris like say like, I was watching fucking Lawrence of Arabia, and Chris was like, "Good news, lads." He didn't even call. He just said it on like the fucking Facebook group chat. And he was like, "Oh, by the way, this happened." And I was watching like Lawrence of Arabia, and I was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" And then like the next day, Chris was like, "Can't believe I'm at work." I'm just so bored out of my mind. I hate this. I was like, Jesus, what a follow up to the best day of your life.
Oh my god.
We had an engagement party on Saturday, which like coincided with when I was getting ill.
Mhm.
So like I felt fine until like halfway through the day when I suddenly started to get like a sore throat. And then by the time people started coming over, I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah,
I
we
almost-
left. We all left, and Chris, you said, "Oh, thank God, everyone left."
Everyone left, and I was like, I am gonna throw up right now. I feel awful. And
Oh
then
yeah, I was
like
literally 10
the
seconds away from going to
stragglers were
bed.
like, oh, let's get a picture, and I was like, please don't. I'm gonna throw up any second now.
oh my
I don't want to
god.
remember this.
Yeah.
Oh no, you had left just after actually. No,
Yeah.
just before. And I was like, okay guys, I'm gonna go to bed now. And everyone's like, nah, let's get a picture. And Chris is looking like death, right? And I'm like, oh fuck me. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm definitely going to bed. And he goes, excuse me, I'm gonna go be sick now. And I was like, okay. You
I
stay out
didn't
there.
feel like anybody got drunk there either.
No,
But still,
Probably
Chris
not,
was
I
like,
dunno.
I'm still going to throw up. Something has to happen.
I didn't know. So
Oh,
silver
good.
lining.
I wouldn't know. I was asleep. All I could hear was everyone else chatting shit,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we weren't even the last people standing. We went to bed before them.
Oh, nice.
It's true. It's true.
Woohoo! Nice. Yeah,
Which made no
decent
sense.
night though.
but-
I had fun.
Yeah, it was good. I just wish I wasn't really ill. Didn't
Yeah.
even. I got a load of drinks. Didn't finish them.
That
Yeah,
was
they're
the way.
still in the cupboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
I've had a couple of drinks before doing this actually. So now I'm sipping down this coffee. It's a nice counterweight to it. And I have work tomorrow. So
That's nice.
probably shouldn't have drunk, but yeah, I don't know. It wasn't that much. just watching a man getting a freehand tattoo in my flat. So Connor, who we started the podcast with, he was getting a tattoo from one of his mates, and he's getting lyrics from one of Chris's songs and also
Is he
one
getting?
of our songs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is he? I didn't know whether he was getting the words tattooed or like just lyrics from the song tattooed. Which
Well,
would
we have
be
a song
hilarious.
so me and Chris are in a band called Midwinter Seas. Hit that up on the gram and Spotify.
Yeah, got a new song out as well.
Yeah, I wanted
Yeah, we
you
got a
guys
new
to
song
plug
out.
it. Anyway, go ahead.
Listen to Rabbit in a Jazz Room. Go do that. And so I come home from work and Connor's like, I'm getting a tattoo, and I was like, what, right now? And he's just like, I left him in like he's just lying on the sofa getting his nipples tattooed, and he was like, yeah, and also just our song New Man. And I was like, you're just gonna get the word New Man, the words New Man. And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay.
Oh, so he is literally just getting the words
Yeah,
new
fair
man.
enough.
Okay.
That's fair enough.
Maybe he is
Hey,
a new
why
man.
not?
Maybe the song resonated with him that much.
It should have. He wrote it.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I thought you wrote it.
we all wrote it. We're in a band together.
Yeah, well,
And
Max
we-
wrote the
Well,
lyrics.
Yeah, I wrote the
That's what you
lyrics.
mean.
Yeah, that is what I meant. Apologies.
So yeah, good things happening for all.
Yeah. I also put out a new song while we were away
Yeah, you did.
Yes, you
Yeah.
did.
What was that?
called My Head.
We're just plugging
Yeah, might as well
ourselves.
Plug
plug what we've done.
Yeah,
what
for
we've been
Chris Holland, My Head, hit that up.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hit that up on the
Took
on
like
the Spotify.
2 years to make, so
Yeah,
And
Jesus.
it's
glad
a-
it's out now.
And it's a
It's
slap.
fucking brilliant. It's
Yeah,
the best
it's a
one you've ever
slap.
released.
Thanks.
It's so good. Yeah, hit
And
that up. It's so good. It's
Everyone's
brilliant
artwork also
stuff.
slaps.
We're all out here making music and just
Darcy's doing all the artwork for us for free.
And it slaps.
Yeah. We give you no money for it, but
That's all right. One day I'll
the
come
love
gunning
of
for
your
them
own heart.
royalties. Don't you worry. That's
Yeah.
all right. I'll just take it out of Chris's.
yeah,
Yeah.
just take it out. Take it out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
That'll do.
Cool. So,
Ah.
good times had by all and all that. And, great time to be celebrating
Mm.
the spring equinox and just the horrendous droughts of rain we've been having as a result of that.
I'm,
It's great.
I'm telling you, this whole like, I know it's only like the 5th of April, but for some weird reason, this whole month is already like a mess.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
month off.
Yeah.
So,
It's not making
one
sense.
second it'll be like really nice and like quite warm, then the
Mm.
next second it'll be like torrential downpour.
That
Mhm.
market was the coldest thing I've ever done in my whole life.
Yeah, you did one of those like arts markets.
Oh my
I
god!
did one of
Yeah.
those before and it was freezing. I would
It
never
was
do it
so
again.
cold. I had a blanket with me, and I literally kept going to the library just so I could get back in the warm. I'd be like, Holly, I'm gonna go for a piss, and I wasn't really going for a piss half the time. I just was like, I need to go somewhere warm and sit for a couple minutes. It was not fun.
Yeah.
But then it ended, and the sun came out, and I was like, are you joking?
Well, it's always the way, isn't it?
So I went to the beach afterwards with my parents, which was quite
lovely.
cute. They drove all the way down just to stay.
Got there
for,
right as the sun crept in.
They stayed for about it was like 3 minutes, and they were like, "Oh, okay,
So yeah, back to
here's
Luton.
the stuff." And then,
When they went back to Luton.
no, they went to go get coffee. They were going to come to the flat, but Chris was ill. My mum was like, "Absolutely not." So they're like doddering around Port Southsea for a bit, and then they dropped me back to the flat. We had ice cream, and that was about it, really.
Sorry, they didn't miss much. I was just sat here watching Cheers.
Do you know what? I don't know how I'm going to tell. Well, I mean, normally I like to tell them life updates about Chris, like when he finally got into coffee, and my family were like, "Whoa, hey, he's one of us now." But
Like a cult.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can't tell them about Cheers. I feel like it would just
Why not?
kill the dynamic off
Good
a little
show.
bit. I don't know. It's all right. It's really annoying. It's a very annoying show.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at the frozen still frame on the TV right now. And I don't know if it looks like it's for me.
It's a really annoying.
Just like a
It's very
American
generic. Yeah,
sitcom.
Ugh,
Kind of what you'd expect from that.
it's
Christ.
it does give like Friends vibes, to be honest, but like
Oh,
not in
God.
not in the same vein. It's complicated. It's very like hangouty, and
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I prefer it to Friends so far. I don't really hate anyone.
Yeah. Is
Yeah,
it
but there's
really a
always a
high bar
character
with
to
Friends?
hate
then?
in there.
No.
What was that?
You're like, damn, if this tops Friends, this will be insane.
Yeah, so far not as good as Frasier, the spin-off show, but
Yeah, but nothing's as good as Frasier because it's got everything that's great about life in that show.
I've been slacking on the TV recently, to be fair. Really not been doing a lot of TV.
Yeah,
Been cranking
no.
out the movies.
Yeah, I finished Ozark and then we pretty much just watched nothing but The Simpsons on our time off.
Well, we finished Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah,
but
we finished that as
didn't
well.
take much time because there's only one season anyway.
Mm.
And it was
Well,
really
there we
good.
go. Yeah.
Anyway, should we start cracking on? It's getting to 8:30. And
Shit, yeah.
Max is on his time crunch.
Yeah, I gotta
'cause
get
he
up at like
actually
6
has-
a.m.
Oh, God, he has places to go.
Got place to go.
I don't. I work at home now.
Yeah, there we go. So, how are we going to do this? We want to talk about some new movies, or
I mean, I'm almost willing to skip them if it means we could talk about. Well, it's more like if we could talk about them at proper length, then I'd rather talk about them on a different
next
time.
week. It was only really like Pearl, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it?
Hey, I'm up for
Dipsy is
talking
something
about
in the
Pearl right
corner.
now. Like, I don't really mind.
No, we'll save it for next week. I've got a fair amount to say about
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Next week we'll talk about Pearl.
that. Yeah, and
maybe-
Shrek 5. The Shrek 5 news.
Yes, I've heard about the Shrek 5 news.
What?
Well, that's all right.
You
That's for
can't
next
heard
week.
about
That's
the
for
Shrek
next
5
week.
news?
No,
got-
you
gotta-
can't drop that right now and then not tell me about it. You have to drop it.
Hold
Tell me what
on
it is
then.
now.
Well, everyone's
Well,
everyone's got their laptops up, don't they? Yeah, apparently.
the head of DreamWorks has said that Shrek
Ooh.
5 is in talks.
It's
that
in,
they're like,
apparently it's in the works.
yeah, he
actually.
said it's like quite like serious talks with the cast at the moment, as well
the
as
original cast.
yeah, as well as a donkey spin-off movie.
Oh, who cares about
Donkey
that?
spin-off. Oh my God, there is with Eddie. What is that all about? I love this like headline.
It's like
that's
you found out Eddie Murphy was in it and you were like, what the fuck?
Oh no, it was because I There's a bit that this. Oh my God, this headline. Ah!
Whoa.
What the fuck is that?
What's happening?
Oh my God, nothing will shut up.
Oh shit, that's the ad for that that show on Paramount Plus. They play like intermittently between different ads at the cinema.
Oh my God, that's so annoying.
Yeah.
Apologies. Well, basically, the headline was talking about Sing 3 as well, and I got really confused
Ooh, Sing 3.
because apparently Eddie Murphy's in Sing 3 as
Yeah.
well.
Jesus.
apparently,
Yeah, I think it's
according
because
to them.
the head of Illumination's also the head of DreamWorks,
Yeah,
or he's
that-
like high up
They
in
did
DreamWorks.
say about Illumination, to be fair, so it does make sense.
Old Chris Meledandri is head of DreamWorks.
I'm honest.
I know he's the head of Illumination.
I think he's like high up there. I think it is. That name sounds really familiar.
I almost
so-
find it hard
yeah.
to believe Illumination don't have many good movies, do they?
I remember
Don't
like
have
way
any
back
good
in the day
movies.
there was news about fucking Illumination acquiring the rights to Shrek.
Yeah.
I don't know if that really went anywhere.
No, I don't think it did.
Thank God.
I was gonna say, but if they're like the same or within the same family, yeah, why would you need to buy it anyway? Because it's
Yeah.
basically yours anyway.
I think a year or two ago I would have been like, really? But after seeing that new Puss in Boots, I'm actually quite excited.
Yeah, that Puss
Yeah.
in Boots film slapped.
That was great. Just do something like that.
Yeah.
But Shrek.
I don't know if they will.
He was going to Shrek.
Yeah,
he
he
was
was
He
a
was going to
far, far
Shrek.
away lad at the
Yeah.
end.
He was.
That
Yeah.
was pretty sick.
Spoilers for Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. But yeah, we've all seen it.
We
we all think
reviewed
it's a
it already as
masterpiece.
well.
Mm.
Shrek 5 in the works.
Yeah, Shrek 5
Great.
in the
Excited
world.
for that.
That'd be
No,
good. That'd be good.
I'm not excited at all.
Well, why don't you just hop back on your hater train and get the fuck out of this station?
I will.
How's that then? All right, so cool.
There you go. There's
Uh,
the news.
If you remember,
Yeah.
about a month ago, at the end of the last episode, we were tasked by the wheel with watching some movies called Mad Max and all the rest of them. All the Mad Maxes. We watched all the Mad Maxes. And we're going to talk about all the Mad Maxes. Start featuring
Yeah.
Mel Gibson and Tom Hardy as the Mad Max himself. So, go ahead, Chris. Fucking take it away.
Yeah, so the first one, Mad Max from 1979, directed by George Miller, who did all of these.
Did them all, baby.
Yeah, he did.
Good for him.
Takes place in like a dystopian Australia.
Or as I like to call it, Australia.
Mel Gibson plays Max, who's a highway patrol man who goes after some criminals. And these criminals, this motorcycle gang, decide to go out, take revenge because he killed someone or something. And then he goes, you know what, I'm going to take my revenge.
Okay.
Do you know what? That is a solid start to what has been a pretty terribly done episode so far.
The first Mad Max movie does not really have any story.
I just found out this second that he was a patrol man. I literally did not even know that.
It's about an hour and a half long, and it takes about an hour, 15 minutes for the story to actually move anywhere.
Yeah, he's a cop.
And the end is so abrupt.
You do not recognise when he says, "I'm Max, and I'm a cop." And you're like, oh shit, he's a cop. Yeah, Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Woo! Come on, Mel, bringing it back to the classic Mel days when everybody was all about Mel. You know?
Before the racism.
Before all that, he was a good guy. But back when he did these,
or just hiding it, you know.
Yeah. I've seen this one before, and I've also seen Fury Road before. I haven't seen the others. This one sucks.
Yeah.
There's nothing about it that I really care all that much for. It doesn't. Yeah, as Chris said, it doesn't really have a plot.
Yep.
What they set up goes nowhere.
Yep.
Even like the villain, who you think, oh, there's a villain, that never goes anywhere.
Yep.
I don't know if they were trying to make him like overly camp or like these villains overly camp, but that's sort of how it came across to me.
Yeah.
Don't know if I appreciate it. It was like, okay,
It was
what are you really trying to say here with this? I guess it's just Australia. But I think in the later installments they definitely lean more into the post-apocalyptic nature of the series. This one, it's not really about that so much. So I think probably it suffers for that, to be fair, and just I don't really care about what's happening. I don't care that he has like a family. They're like, I'm Max and I have a family. I've got like a wife and like a daughter or something.
It's a son called Sprog, isn't it? Sproggett or Sproggo or something.
They don't call the fucking child Sprog.
They named him Sprog, but I don't know if that's his actual legal name.
You call like a child Sprog.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Is his name Sprog?
You know?
He is credited as Sprog.
So his name's Sprog.
But I'm sure he had a proper name.
He must have had a proper name because that's what I said. I went, Chris, are they calling him Sprog or is he called Sprog? Because obviously, you'd be like, Sproglet is crying again, not Sprog, my child, my legal name is crying again.
Yeah.
But
they
so
do like
stupid.
the piss poor job of like setting up how much he cares about his family.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he cared about his family until the very
have,
end.
Like, a couple of scenes
you know
where like
I mean?
him and his wife are like laying in the grass and laughing together. And they gotta run away from this biker gang who's mercilessly chasing them. And then like that's like most of the movie.
Yeah.
And then like right at the end, his wife and his it's pretty horrible, to be fair. His wife and his daughter die because they get like smacked against the skull by the bikers while they're like running away from them.
Well, the only reason it's funny is because of how they did it, I think.
Yeah.
Like it was.
So it's I don't know if I found it funny. I just found it like kind of just unnecessary. Because
it was dumb.
I guess he needed to like lose something, but I kind of think that he didn't because it didn't matter really.
No.
He's like now it's revenge time, but he could have just been a cop who wanted to see these guys put away.
Yeah, because they could have been doing devious crimes.
The next movies, it doesn't really matter at all. He could have just been like a guy.
No.
I know. Yeah, because they never returned. So what was the point?
Yeah, they only reference it in the second movie, which starts off with like a 5-minute recap of what happened in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't need to see the first movie in that case, which I kind of appreciated. But when we were watching it, I said, oh, why the hell did I just watch this movie when I could have just watched this?
It does kind of just feel like a 90-minute prologue more than anything.
Basically, yeah.
And it wasn't even any good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They dragged out 2 pages out for 90
Pretty
minutes.
much.
I swear they were like switching out the babies as well.
Yeah, probably.
I kind of had
there
that
were like
thought
different
as well,
babies that they put in scene from scene.
I thought that because when every time the woman and the baby would come up, I thought that baby looks different. Do they have more than one child?
That's what I thought as well. I thought they maybe had 2 children because they were quite different looking. But no, I guess not. It's like a gritty, more gay version of H2O, just dead water, really, isn't it? It's
oh my god, what a throwback!
I actually don't mind, like, the third act. I don't really mind it. I like when they're like in the cars and like driving around and going,
Yeah.
That was probably the only bit that had anything
Yeah, I think-
happening, right?
That's because George Miller's like really great at directing action. That's like the
Yeah, it was
best
sick.
stuff in any of these movies. Is
Mhm.
like the big action sequences and like the car chases and shit.
Yeah, I had
Sick
to
as
say
fuck,
it's true.
honestly. I
Yeah,
just wish there would have been more of it, Instead of just like watching Mel Gibson like giggle and play with his child. Like, I didn't really care about that. I didn't care about any of the scenes where he like
Artificial
goes into the
grassy.
station. He's like, "Fucking, I gotta nail these guys," and they're like, "Max, you're a loose cannon. You're a renegade. Get out of here. Go take a sabbatical. You're out of your mind." And he's like, "Oh, take a break. I want to take a break." Ah, and then he's like, "I've quit. I quit. They're after me now. That's it. I'm done with this. I got a wife and child," and I just didn't care about any of that.
no,
So,
it's just
for real.
boring.
And
Yeah.
it's the movies that come next in the franchise are just further proof you don't need that at all for
No.
it to be entertaining or gripping. It just there's no point whatsoever. You could just be a guy. Just have him be a cop who
Yeah.
like, really wants to take him down.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like the longer you're watching this franchise, I was kind of saying to Chris, like, did it even need to be about Mad Max? Could it have just been about like anyone? Did it? I felt like the more and more of the films, he became more and more like
He was in the background. a lot more.
inconsequential.
It
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
was
he-
more about other characters.
yeah,
as
exactly. And I just thought this doesn't
The
need
movies
to be
progress. Yeah,
whatever this is. That's fine.
I
It's
think it's
Shit,
fine.
anyways.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
It's weird watching this and all the others together because it just feels like a real like black sheep of the franchise.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
So
Yeah.
the others at least have something like tonally in common, whereas
I was
this
just
kind of
thinking the other- yeah.
sticks out.
The others have a theme at least.
he kind of came into his own with those other ones where he was
Yeah.
like, this is sort of what this franchise needs to be about in a kind of
Mm.
way. This is how I think he builds the world a lot more in the other movies, and this is just like it could be in Australia, and that's just how it is. They don't set up like this is what happened and the world exploded and now we're living in a post-apocalypse. It doesn't really set any of that up. It's just like we're in Australia, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it meant to be post-apocalyptic? But
Yeah.
I can't even
Yeah,
speak.
it's
What, in
still
the
supposed
first
to be
one?
like dystopian, but
Mhm.
they don't really do a
I
good
didn't
job of
catch that
selling
at
it.
all. It just looked like because at first I thought I didn't realize it was Australian, and I thought everyone was just putting on really hammy British accents. And because like the longer the movie went on, the more I was like, oh, okay, this is actually Australian. This is just
Mhm.
a terrible movie. I didn't pick up on any dystopian themes, really, if I'm honest. It just felt like, I don't know, the Harley Davidson bikers or
Yeah.
something decided to go rogue or something like
I think
I don't know.
The franchise definitely gets a lot better when they are going in that sort of direction, like dystopian stuff, and it is like very deserty, and it's kind of like those Borderland games.
Well, at least
that
that
reminds
makes
me a lot of those.
sense. Like, there's something to coherently follow. Like, did anyone know that it was a dystopian movie before they watched the movie? Even whilst
but
watching
that's
this
because
movie?
I knew about the franchise.
Yeah, I'd seen Fury Road before I'd seen any of these.
I meant the first one. Just the first one based on its own.
Yeah, because I'd seen Fury Road and I was like, this is in a dystopia. So it follows suit that the first movie would be in a dystopia.
Yeah, well, for me, I knew about the franchise before I watched the first one.
Because my thoughts were just, if you'd watched that first one without knowing anything about it, a bit like myself, doesn't make much sense. Just feels that could have been in Britain. It could have been anywhere. Like it just, I didn't understand it.
I don't think it could be in Britain. Not really.
No.
Well, it's definitely not in dystopia.
You need like Australia has these like wide plains that you just like go down like endless roads. You don't
Okay,
need
it could
that
have been
on
American then.
fucking yeah, but what?
Yeah,
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Want?
What
Like,
I mean
fucking
is
George
it-
Miller is Australian.
Like it didn't have it didn't
Oh,
feel
George
the
Miller,
need
why
to have a
didn't you-
location.
well, it doesn't matter. Really. I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
think
yeah,
it matters.
exactly. It just didn't
Could be
feel
set
the need,
anywhere, really,
yeah.
but it doesn't. Like George Miller's Australian, Mel Gibson's American. Does a fine enough accent. I
It's
suppose.
because he,
Yeah, he got away with it.
moved to Australia when he was quite young.
Yeah.
So I think he...
What, Mel Gibson?
Yeah, I think he naturally had a Australian accent.
I wouldn't have even. I don't even know that. But then when
I'm
was the
pretty
last
sure he
time
has an
anyone looked up
Australian
Mel
accent in
Gibson?
Lethal Weapon as well, to be fair.
Lethal Weapon?
I don't know.
I haven't seen Lethal Weapon either.
I don't know. I don't remember it enough. But But yeah, I've seen it before. It's not really as bad as I remember, but it's like pretty close. I think the cardinal sin is probably that it doesn't end.
Yeah.
It goes and like what you want to see is like, okay, here's the villains, they're set up, they do some shit. Mad Max is like, I'm mad, I'm gonna get you. And he gets maybe one of them. They're not even like the main guy with the weird hair. And then it ends.
I know!
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, I guess it'll set up. And then the rest of the movies will be, he's gonna go after the rest of these. And it's like, if the franchise follows him John Wicking through Australia and just trying to get these guys. But they never come back.
No.
That's probably the worst part about the movie.
Yeah, like the second it starts getting even sort of interesting, it just kind of ends, and it's really abrupt as well. Like it's just,
Yeah,
I don't know.
like-
It's just left you going.
As part
Cool.
of an overall story, it just feels very inconsequential. Very
I mean,
pointless.
Yeah, kind of actually. Because what was it all for?
Yeah.
It doesn't really end. It doesn't really tell you anything ever. From beginning to end, it was just a pointless watch.
I don't know, pointless.
I would definitely say pointless.
I would never watch it again.
Can you tell? I
But-
really did not give a shit about these movies.
It was like the cars, man.
Yeah,
was
when
sick.
this came up on the wheel, I was really like, I did consider skipping it for a second just because I didn't want to have to watch this again. This is like the 4th or 5th time I've watched it now, and I just don't like it anymore.
I would agree, that's mad, because I watched it once and I actually want the hour and a half back of my life that I wasted watching this.
If anything, I think I like it less every time I watch it. 'Cause I feel like it just wastes my time.
It was so, it was just,
Yeah, big time waster.
yeah, very much so. This is like torture levels of just film watching.
Yeah, not really big on it. Should we rate it then?
Yeah, fuck it. Go for it.
Rate it out of Sprogs.
Rate it out of Sprogs.
The most memorable part of the movie, poor Sprog.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, Sprog, rest in peace, Sprog.
Yeah, like I said, I've watched it a few times now. Just really don't get anything out of it. I think the franchise really comes into its own in the second movie. It just feels very inconsequential and there's not really any point to it. I give it 3 Sprogs out of 10.
Yeah, 3 Sprogs out of 10. Don't want to watch it again.
2 Sprogs, and that's being generous.
Thanks. Thanks, Mel. All right, Mad
I feel
Max 2.
kind of bad for Mel now.
Don't feel bad for him.
No, I think he's fine. Okay, in 1981, 2 years after that, the second Mad Max came out, Mad Max Road Warrior, and doesn't really matter that what happened in the first one. They set up sort of what the world is, which I probably liked a bit more in this one. This one's actually I think it's pretty good. It's just like he's a road warrior. And he's living, he's surviving, and he finds like a small group of people who run a remote oil refinery, and he's got to like save them or something because they're being attacked by some geezers. It's just like bombastic shit going on. A bit of fun, bit of laugh. Decent overall, I thought. How do we think about Mad Max 2, directed by George Miller, starring Mel Gibson?
It was definitely.
Yeah, I really like this one.
It was definitely less boring. I kept turning to Chris and going, well, at least this one didn't make me want to tear off my own face.
I think I really have a soft spot for this movie, and I'm not too sure why. Out of like all of them, it's this one.
I think the
But I
story
do
is
think
kind
it's
of
really
cool.
good. I like the story a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think definitely in terms of production design and like just general production and costumes and sets, they're a lot more creative, and there's a lot of really interesting stuff going on. You can tell it's like incredibly influential on a lot of like dystopian and post-apocalyptic content that came after it.
Yeah, I got to agree. I just like from the offset, I was like, okay, they introduce it. I'm like, this is what happened to the world. the fucking we were in Australia and everybody fucking died, and now we're living in Mad Max world, baby. We're the small fry. We're in Mad Max's world, and we're just living in it, baby. Ooh, hallelujah. And it's just better overall. Just everything about it is just better as a product than the first one overall. And I think probably George Miller learned a lot from making that first movie, try to make this one a bit better. And I think he succeeded. And he set up a lot of stuff that is carried on throughout the rest of these movies that sort of makes it a staple of the franchise, I guess, and just like definitely a staple of like post-apocalyptic movies in general. Although I don't think it's like amazing. I don't think it's great. I think it services what it does pretty well.
It's watchable.
It's definitely watchable.
Like,
yeah.
Like if you were to say, hey, you have to pick one of the original 3 to watch, I would immediately gun for the second one, right? Like, it's just a no-brainer at that point.
I guess.
I mean, yeah,
I don't know though. But, I don't know.
We'll
get into it.
Yeah. That is.
Maybe it's because it's like such a big leap from the first one.
It is a little jarring, especially when you're watching them back to back, like we basically did.
Oh well, yeah, but I guess the theory is that you're back, and then you probably wouldn't have watched them back to back.
Yeah.
How far like in release time was this?
2 years.
2 years. 2 years later, this came out.
Not too bad.
So fairly close between the two.
Yeah, I feel like maybe he was taking notes along the way, and he was like, right, I'm gonna
need to build a better
this...
world. And they need to look insane. These people need to be fucking crazy. And
it was quite
got this
quite
like punk
interesting.
aesthetic to it.
Yeah,
very steampunky, innit? Well, not really.
Yeah, I think it's just more like punky.
Had elements of
punky.
it, but
very industrially.
Yeah, that's what I would kind of. Yeah, that's what I kind of mean.
I appreciate that more. It makes it stick a bit more in your mind.
Oh yeah, it was definitely like I was trying to say to Chris. It felt like it was more interesting. I felt like there was more like stuff to follow. Like there was like a cohesive story, and there was like an actual stake to this. Like obviously, poor Sproggo and the mama bird from the last movie, but like the stakes seem a lot bigger in this one for some reason, even though it's not that big, if that makes sense. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's just one of them kind of movies, isn't it? I think you have to, if you watch the first one, I feel like you appreciate the second one a lot more, but
I think it's kind of like the stakes are like the little man fighting against the big man. I think it's just kind of part of human nature. You kind of root for the little man to try.
I don't know, I kind of like when
I was trying to think
the
of
evil people win.
What little man was there? And now I'm like, do I remember what happened in this movie?
The metaphorical
maybe I don't,
little
actually.
man, right?
I remember they had like...
or is there an actual little man that I am also forgetting about?
Yeah, metaphorical. Like you got like the two different factions. Like one of them are like quite just trying to live life and get by, and the other ones are like very aggressive. Like we need to take over everything, and they've got a lot of power and control.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that awful. Is it The Expanse?
Maybe.
Yeah, because it had, like that whole like different species, different worlds kind of thing going on.
Yeah, like the Belfers.
Yeah, it actually did
like
kind of remind me of that show, even though I hate to admit it. But somehow I think this film did that better. And I can't even...
really?
You
sure about that?
Like,
I don't know, they had their little community with
There's like
the gate was a bus, I guess.
Was this the one there was one with water, wasn't it?
One with water? No.
Or was that the first?
No, that was the last one.
God, everything is cracking.
Was this the one with water? Was this the one with that? That's exactly what I'm thinking of. I just like... Because I don't know if I remember this all that well, to be honest. I watched it a few days ago, but I don't think it's the best one.
Yeah, they do kind of melt into your brain a little bit though, because like we were saying, like obviously like the last couple ones are sort of like within like within a similar theme.
Yeah.
So I think it might be easy to be able to like pick bits and bobs.
It's good if you have like a hook. You could be like, oh, this is the one.
Yeah, with
the Thunderdome. This is the one.
This is one with Tina Turner.
Tina Turner. Or the other.
Yeah.
This one doesn't quite have that.
I don't think it does. It works as like a unit, but probably it's not really sticking in my mind all that much, so I'm having trouble kind of recalling.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think it's like the one where they kind of like set up a lot of the rules and a lot of the things that
Guzzling.
kind of gasoline.
I remember
they
like
set up
oil.
a lot of what makes this franchise unique, I think, in a way. I think pretty much everything they set up, they kind of expand upon and do better in Fury Road.
Do you know what? I would basically argue it's the same movie but done a lot better.
Kind of, yeah.
But I don't know.
But we'll get to that anyway.
I think it meanders a lot. Actually, this one.
What, this one? Yeah.
They're not on the road nearly as much as I would have liked. As a
road warrior movie, you mean?
As a road warrior movie, it was like he's not really road warrioring it up, is he?
Not enough roads.
And when I think about
warrior.
like what Mad Max is as a franchise, I'm like, is this the franchise where they drive cars through a desolated post-apocalyptic Australia, or is it the franchise where Mel Gibson is in a post-apocalyptic Australia?
Oh yeah,
they drive cars sometimes.
Yeah, I do see what you mean, because there's like this strange merge of both.
Because I have that problem with the third one as well, and at least with the first one, I can say they drive cars a lot in that movie, and that's sort of where I want to put myself when I watch these movies. Because as much as I'm not like a car person, but it's all shot really well, and when it opens up, they're like racing around, the camera's like zooming in on the cars that are going, and it's really well filmed. But then they sort of do away with that, and you just kind of watch this dispute between the different factions, and like, it's not really that interesting anymore.
Well, I guess that makes it worse in a way, because if you've got a movie literally called Road Warrior, you're expecting 90% of it to
they sort of
basically be on.
They take it there in like the third act, I think, right. But they're like, now we're in the cars. I'm like, why weren't you in the cars the whole time?
That bit was
I
actually
think that's like the best bit of the movies when they are going all out with the vehicles.
It felt
and
the
the
most
fight.
memorable to me, like that part of the movie.
Yeah.
But then,
shit, and they were on like the plane.
Yeah, the guy in the plane.
They were like in the plane, and they were like charging the faction who were like speeding after them. He's like, I don't have enough runway, and he's like, I'll make a runway for you. And Mel Gibson gets into the truck, and he's like, yeah, and he fucking plays chicken with the people who are coming head on at him, and he's like, I'm Mad Max, baby, and he like smashes into them. That's cool. That's pretty cool. It's just everything else that's like, I don't really remember.
No, I don't remember that part either, but I could have thought that would happen in the third one. Like I'm telling you, every movie has become like this almost like cookie dough of a franchise where I have no idea what happened in what one. I could tell you stuff that happened.
Yeah, if I didn't have my notes, I'd be completely at a loss, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I know he had a dog in this one. I didn't appreciate that it died. I was like, okay, why did he have a dog?
There was a dog in the first one as well. The dog in the second one was cuter though.
Yeah, that's true.
They got.
It did get got. Yeah, I remember that. That was like, this movie now is lame. This movie sucks now.
You had the Boomerang King in this. The Boomerang
the
Kid.
feral kid.
Yeah, the feral kid he was credited as throwing boomerangs at people. Pretty sick.
That was cool.
I liked him. He was
throws a boomerang and the guy goes to catch it and it chops all his fingers off.
Oh my god, that I will give this film the other bit of praise, that this, like, after watching the dull fest of the first one, the second one was having me cracking up. Like when the kid like chucked that boomerang and it hit that woman straight in the skull, and this guy's like, kill them now, and everyone's like, no, you can't do that. And this kid's like, hee 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 hee. It was funny. Like, I actually was genuinely chuckling.
It's sort of interesting to see like how they set up these societies, or like what it is. I was thinking, like, is their society less legitimate than the society we find ourselves in today? Just as we live by like capitalistic rules, and they kind of don't. Yeah, and we have like laws, but it's only because we've got like a government or whatever that it makes it feel more legitimate. Why is it not like it could just be like this? Like, it would be worse, obviously, but it would, you know, why is that like less legitimate as a? Why is this post-apocalyptic, but whatever we're living in now is not? You know, at what point do we say we're living in a post-apocalypse when everything is slowly getting worse around us?
When we become anarchists, basically. Isn't that the theory, basically?
Not already?
Yeah, but you know, like communities of like off the grid is basically what you'd probably.
Yeah, I think it's when like most people have died and it's just like a few stragglers left that are living with no rules, just kind of getting by.
And
when we all get fucking EMP'd like in 2049.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everything would just be like, literally everything would be off the grid, wouldn't it? There'd be no civil IDs, there'd be no housing, there'd be no. You just kind of causing mischief.
Fend for yourself.
Yeah, basically.
You're road warriors.
Without
I'll be fucked. I can't drive.
Road warrior.
But we'd have to
bike
learn.
it.
Well, do you know what? It wouldn't even matter because you wouldn't need a license. You just steal a car and
I'd die immediately.
yeah, you'd hope for the best, of course.
Yeah. And then I was thinking, is this just only happening in Australia? What if this is only happening in Australia and all the rest of the world is just fine?
That's almost like every film I've ever watched that has like some sort of like outbreak or something. You know, like when you watch the Left Behind movies or whatever, I always think, could that just be happening there? Like, you know,
it might
like,
be. You know, that's how we talk about fucking like North Korea or whatever, or like China. They just live in it, or like Russia at the moment. They just live in it, Mad Maxing it up in the Russian desert. Yeah, fucking hell. I like the decisions to sort of set these in the desert as well, because I think it lends to a lot of really nice shots as well.
Oh yeah, everything looked really like cool.
Yeah,
but then
golden.
It's the desert in it. It's kind of
well,
cool,
where like the first movie was kind of more. It took it into like buildings, like they would go around and they would like go to like fields or whatever in houses. Didn't really appreciate
it. Was the Hot Fuzz scenery.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, yeah, I just probably prefer it when they're like out in the outback.
I guess it's something you also don't see a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes it more distinct and unique.
Especially when, I guess, as a dystopia, you actually do kind of assume it more to be with like barren like landscapes and stuff, rather than, oh look, there's Bev driving a Ford Fiesta down the big plain of Australian road. You know what I mean? It's not quite the same.
Yeah, Australia's like a mixing point, like could just be going on. You see Bev in her Ford Fiesta, she's like rolling down the highway and
driving down the outback.
Goes like an off road through the desert for like 10 minutes, and they're just like Mad Maxing it up over there. She's like, there they are.
That's probably what is probably
guys.
happening, right?
Yeah.
Because like that place is so massive as well. Like I assume stuff like that must happen all the time.
Stupid decision, I think, for this movie was to put that one comic relief character in it, because I thought he'd suck terribly.
One was that?
The plane
like
guy.
Yeah, the guy with the helicopter, like the pedal helicopter,
who randomly shows up again in the third one for some reason.
Oh, I don't remember this. Maybe I blotted it out of my mind.
He was the guy.
Yeah, the guy like you think he's dead, and then suddenly at the end he's flying in his helicopter again.
Nah, I must have.
He's dropping
that
bombs
out of my
on them
brains.
from above.
Well, that's rude, isn't it?
What? But I was thinking like they're like driving in a helicopter. I was like, these people will do anything but drive a car. That's all I want from these movies. Just see some fucking cool ass driving.
Maybe
they won't even do that.
Maybe they thought planes were cooler.
Get the high ground.
No, it sucked because he was terrible. he was not a good character. Every time he was in his helicopter, he looked dumb as hell. Oh dear. Yeah, no, not really.
No,
just sort of meandered a lot. I didn't. Overall, definite improvement on the last one. Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I would say so.
You know, pretty good all around. I thought.
No, it was way better. So.
Slowly leaving my mind as I talk about it. I suppose.
Like the longer we're talking about this franchise, the more I'm like, I don't remember anything that's happening now.
Let's wrap it up then. What are we going to rate this one out of?
I don't know. I don't even know what happened.
Boomerangs. Boomerangs.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I really like this one. As we said, massive improvement on the first one. Definitely one of my favourites. Kind of not sure whether I'd say it's my favourite, but it's up there. Definitely close for me. So yeah, I'll give it like 7 boomerangs out of 10.
Yikes. Cool.
Yikes, cool.
That yikes will become evident in a little bit. Yeah, decent enough. 6 boomerangs out of 10.
I don't know why, but I also will give it 6 boomerangs out of 10.
What do you mean you don't know why?
Because the more I think about them, the less I remember about it, and now I'm like, do I really want to give it a 6? But also, compared to the first one, it was at least somewhat enjoyable and watchable. Like I didn't want to punch myself in the throat. Just stop watching.
She was also complaining the whole time. She was like, "These are not my kind of movies."
Oh, they're really not. Like oh my god, because Chris turned to me, right, and I know we're nowhere near the 4th one yet, right? But he literally turns to me and said, "Well, I've got some good news. You'll probably like the last one," and I was like, cool. And I was like, there's not much to go off though, because the first three have been abysmal. So I was.
Well, you say that you just gave the second one a positive score.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in
Right, yeah, that
general,
was pretty
in general speaking, not
Okay.
like if 2 out of 3 of them are utter dog shit, then I can happily say that I didn't like them. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, I forgot that it's my turn to talk about the movie, which is why everyone's looking at me, and I forgot about it. Also, be quite frank, don't remember anything about this movie, and the letterbox review thingy doesn't explain it at all. So I don't even think I can tell you. I don't think I can even introduce it, truth be told.
Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome came out in 1985. It's directed by George Miller again, starring Mel Gibson
I
and
think he
Tina Turner.
co-directed it with someone.
It was. Hold on,
Yeah,
I
and
can give
some
you
music.
that though.
Yeah, go on.
It was George Miller and George Ogilvy.
You saw I couldn't even do that. really.
Ogilvy.
The
How
two
do I pronounce
Georges.
this?
This was directed by George Squared, and Mad Max is at it again. He's going to a place, and they've got a Thunderdome, and Tina Turner's there, and she's like, "I need you to kill
She's there indeed.
these geezers for me because I rule over this, the Thunderdome town." And there's this like really small little man who rides on the back of a giant man, and you got to kill the giant man so that I can manipulate the small man to do my bidding and stop them from taking over Terradome town. And Mad Max is like, "If I do this for you, will you give me back my car?" And she's like, "Yeah, whatever." And that's sort of what it's about. And then it sort of takes a left turn from around the middle and becomes something else entirely. It's pretty cool, pretty good. I thought.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
What I think, just to preface this whole conversation, my favourite part was I don't often check my letterbox, right, until like I've watched the film, right. I rarely ever go on it if we're not watching a movie, right. And Chris just went, "Max has given this a good score. I don't understand why." And I was like, "What's he done?" And I went on and I was like,
Well, because you
okay.
guys watched this movie and I was at work and you were like, "This sucks. This is lame." And I was like, "Oh man, I'm in for another one." And then I get home and I put on Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, just like tears in my eyes. I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake. What a waste of my time." And then I actually found out that it wasn't actually as bad as you guys were making it out to be. It was actually kind of fun. I had my fun with
I'm
it.
glad you had.
And I was thinking, like, what are these guys on about? There's rules.
I'm actually,
Yeah.
honestly, I am actually glad that you had fun with this though, because I
Do you think if we were
Don't
watching
remember
it all
anything
together that you would have had a different time with it?
No, because I've seen it before and I didn't like it. That
I might
time
have.
either.
I don't know. I think
You don't think my solid enthusiasm for it would have made you go, "Oh
No.
yeah, actually, I quite like
Probably
when-
would have annoyed me.
No,
when
'cause
they're in the
do-
Terradome." What the fuck?
Do you
When
want
they're in
me-
the Terradome and in the Thunderdome,
see,
and then they're bouncing around on the bungees. Wasn't that cool?
No.
see, and I,
It's
I think,
stupid.
What are you talking
I think what's really bizarre about this like franchise actually, this watching it with me and Chris, right, is that Chris was saying that I was the one complaining, and don't get me wrong, I really bloody was. But this movie in particular, Chris did nothing but bitch and moan about how boring it was. And I was just sitting there going, I just want it to be over at this point. But Chris was going, "Oh my God, look how dumb that was. Oh my God, this is so boring. Oh my God, is it..." Like he's pausing it to see how long we had left of the movie. He was hating it, every
Yeah.
second of it.
I can't believe what I'm hearing right now.
Oh, do you know what? I don't know
think,
who
you
would
know
have
what?
had a
I
better
think
time
you
than
guys
that,
have got it all wrong, and I think if you had watched it with me, that it probably would have made for a better experience for
but
you.
I haven't even. This is the first time I've even seen it, so maybe between the two of you, I could have had like a in between kind of experience where I was equally hating it and finding it really funny at the same time. Like I was laughing at because I will give it its dues where it is due. That you know that little weird freaky kid who like owns like the barren wasteland or whatever, and he's like, "If anyone comes over here, they are dead meat." And then he's like, "Oh no, we are dead meat." And then he like runs away, but he runs really slowly but really quick at the same time.
Yeah, it's like he was in a dream.
Oh my god, it was
It's
so
like he was running away
funny.
from a dream.
I couldn't stop laughing. Like, that part actually was really, really funny.
And then he goes to wake up his dad underground.
Yeah.
And it was like the guy who drove the helicopter
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
in the second movie. I was like, what the fuck?
That
and then
was
like
so
he meets
funny.
Mad Max again, and they're like, let's go. But it's like, wouldn't you be like, oh, you're that guy?
Well, he kind of is. He's like, you've got a plane. We need to go. And he's like, who are you?
Why
Yeah,
did
what
he
the
say
fuck?
did he get brain damage in the
Guess
last
so.
movie or something? He just forgot who he was.
It's all the plane fumes.
Did he look any different? I don't know. I have so many questions. But no,
Yes.
that bit was actually really funny. Chris wasn't laughing, but I was. I was like in hysterics. 'cause
I was laughing quite a bit, to be
cracking up,
fair.
yeah.
I thought it was pretty funny, all the stuff that was happening.
some of it was so stupid. The Tina Turner stuff was well done. I was like, what made her do this? And Chris goes, money?
That's
Yeah.
not everyone's always motive, to do it for the money. Maybe Tina Turner really wanted to be, like the queen of the Terrordome, the Thunderdome.
Maybe.
She was like, this is the role I was born for. Fuck music.
I
I'm going to
couldn't
be the
tell ya.
mayor of Thunderdome Town.
Oh, I must say, though, the song that she did for the film was bad. Pretty
What?
bad. It played at the beginning, didn't it? It was
The
at the
beginning?
end.
And at the end.
No, the beginning, that was really good. The opening, the title track, that was really good. I was like, damn, like you introduced her with this. I'm in for something crazy, right?
I didn't like it, but I think it was actually quite like fitting for the movie. Like in context of how batshit that movie actually was, it
No,
was
I
fitting.
just-
but I didn't like it.
I don't know what you're talking about, really, because it's really upsetting me that you think this way about a movie that I'm not really even all that interested in. But and I hate to be like the hype man for a movie that I thought was like pretty good and not amazing. It was like, if you guys are dragging it down that much, I guess I gotta prop it up a little bit. But
I'm not even saying that much. I think the word
I'm baffled. I'm
Chris
surprised
isn't
at
saying
you.
anything though, and I'm
surprised at you both.
scared.
Really, did you not? Like even in the, you got to admit the Thunderdome was pretty cool.
No,
When they
I don't
no,
think it's
what the
cool.
fuck? No.
I just think
What
it's
do you-
really silly.
What do you mean? Yeah, of course it's silly. This whole franchise is silly as shit, man. If you want to go into this being like, oh man, I can't wait for some serious Mad Maxing, you are going to be sorely disappointed, my friend.
I mean,
that second movie was not like super serious, but it was fun enough.
No, but I think for me, I think it was like the perfect line between being a little bit silly and cheesy at points and being pretty cool. Whereas I think this one, it just kind of struggles to
I
find
mean, the
that balance.
Thunderdome is a cool concept.
Yeah, that's the
So
thing with
why
me. I
did
think
you
there's a lot of
one man leaves, two men enter, one man leaves. You
I
like
think
that?
there's
Did
a
you like how
lot
they?
of cool ideas, but I don't know if I agree with the way they're executed. I think it just goes a bit too camp and over the top for what I want from this franchise.
I thought
thought
you
it was
liked
so
camping
sick.
over the top. I thought that was like your shtick.
It was
Yeah,
so
but-
sick when they like put them in like the fucking bungees in the Thunderdome, and then they were like, "Oh shit, I gotta defeat like the big guy." What is it, Master Blaster? He's Master because he's
Master
like the little man.
Blaster.
He's got all the brains, and that guy's Blaster because he's fucking huge and mentally disabled. And they strap him into the bungees and they're flying about the place, and they're like, "You got to grab like the weapons we've attached to the top of the Thunderdome." And then they're like, "Oh shit, I gotta get the weapons." And they're somersaulting around everywhere. It's awesome. He gets like the spear. He's like, fuck, and all that. And he gets like the chainsaw, and they're just sort of doing like pirouettes and dancing. It's sort of like ballet, and and the people are like, "Yeah, two men enter, one man leaves," and they're like, everybody's like crowded around the Thunderdome, and they're like all on top of it, like a big playground or something. And then, oh man, shit, one of them's in the way. And they get fucking axed in the face. And they're like, oh shit, I wish I hadn't have stood there.
Oh my god, I wish I had watched this with both of you, because Max is just like giving this his all, and I'm just staring at Chris, and he's just straight face.
He
There's
hates
nothing
it,
there.
man.
There is absolutely
No, it was sick as
nothing
hell.
there.
It was sick.
He's a man on the
What
edge.
you didn't even think like when they were like with the pigs, and that was like kind of awesome.
The pigs were cute. But that was
They
it.
were like, this whole factory. I don't know what accent I'm doing now. It runs on.
Who are you
it
trying
runs-
to be?
We run this factory on pigs. Methane. And he's like, no, I don't know what methane is.
No, that was pretty cool too.
Yeah. And then all the little pigs, they were running around. And Master Blaster's there, and he's like, You got it. Go, pigs, go. Make the methane. And I just thought that was cool, man. All that stuff in like the pig sort of pig stuff. Weirdly enough, it reminded me of the album by Pig Destroyer, Prowler in the Yard. It has like the album cover is like that exact aesthetic as well. I was like, they do this on purpose. I don't know if that album had come out yet though. But yeah, it was just weird. It was like, this is definitely different. It was probably the one that of the three that sticks out in my mind as being quite interesting and different just because of the imagery and like what they do with it. It's like, yeah, this is the one with the pigs. They go in
That's
and
true.
like
This is
pigs,
the only one with
and
pigs.
they dip that little man in pig shit. And
That's
he's
fair
like,
enough.
I'll do it, you want. Oh dear.
I can't deny that it's a creative movie, and there are things I like about it.
Yeah.
I just love looking over at Chris. He's just honestly, there's nothing there, guys. I know you can't see him, but there is nothing there. There is absolutely no love lost for this movie.
Do you like how they
whatsoever.
based like basically all their laws on like little quippy lines or like, rhymes that they came up with? It was like, they were like, two men enter, one man leave. I'm like, it's like, that's not. You made a law out of that, and just like people chant it as they go into the Thunderdome. And then there was like, you fucked up on that. Bust a deal, face the wheel. That's what we do over here in Thunderdome Town. And it's like, what do you mean bust a deal, face the wheel?
What's that even mean?
They like spin a wheel like we're doing the fucking marathon on the podcast here, and they spin a wheel, and it's like that's your punishment. It's like, what the fuck?
I mean, to be fair,
imagine if they had that massive wheel in like the House of Commons.
like you go to court and they're like, spin the wheel.
Yeah. One of them just says
What's
Tina
the
Turner's
punishment?
choice. When they spin the wheel, Tina Turner comes in and she's like, execution.
Yeah.
Dude, that'd be sick. You can't tell me that wouldn't be sick.
I actually think that would be quite sick, to be fair. Chris, honestly, Chris ain't there, mate. He is not there. Wow,
there's like, talk in the Fury Road about like this paradise place, and they actually kind of go to a paradisey place, and that's where it takes like kind of a left turn.
Yeah,
and then they're like, and then that's when and they're like, bust a deal, face the wheel, and they're like, the wheel says, send him to the gulag, and then they all chant gulag, gulag, gulag. And they fucking put him backwards on a horse, put this stupid fucking head mask on him, and they slap the horse, and it's like, hell,
like
take him to the
just goes
gulag or
straight to
something.
the
I was
gulag,
like,
just knows.
I was like, is the desert the gulag?
guess so.
What the fuck? Do you not find it like insane when the horse was swallowed? When the horse was swallowed up by that quicksand, and it was like, oh, I'm tired now, and the horse like fainted or whatever, and then it got swallowed up by the quicksand.
We've all been there.
That was
actually
harrowing.
I thought that was quite sad.
That
that's
was
lame.
sad.
That's
that was
lame,
really
man.
sad
You
and
can't
like,
just-
harrowing. I was like, shit, how's
can't
Mel
just do
gonna
that.
get out of this one?
How's Mel gonna get out of this one? He just
It's
walks.
crazy.
Just leaves. Now, honestly, I just wish I had watched it with this like dynamic of just this is the worst thing
Exactly.
ever
So,
compared
no,
to this is
exactly,
the
'cause,
greatest
like,
thing ever.
That's what I mean when I say
I don't
wouldn't
know.
it have been a more interesting experience if we all watched them together? I think it probably would have been.
For me, probably
And I
actually,
think, you
but for
probably
Chris,
would have changed your
probably
tune, you know? I know you're not that big on it, but, sometimes all it takes is somebody to show you the light. And so, the horse gets swallowed, and he goes into this sort of Peter Pan type world,
Yeah,
It's
where he
Hook.
finds all the indigenous
it is
monsters.
like the film Hook
Yeah.
with the adult Peter Pan who like goes back and reunites with the Lost Boys. It's
And they-
basically just that, but Mad Max instead.
Yeah, and they all talk like they're fucking imbeciles.
Yeah. That for me is where the film goes from just being okay to like me like genuinely just really disliking it. I
To be
find
fair,
all
I
that
think that's the
stuff
point
so
where you complain
dull
about
and
it.
annoying.
I found it such a weird turn for the movie.
Yeah.
But they think he's like a pilot. They're like, here you go, here's a plane. Pilot it for us. They should have just done that. And you would have been like, oh yeah, I guess I'll try. Not like, because like, why else? Why not? You would show this massive plane. I want to see someone fly a plane.
I guess.
They were like, what if we get like a smaller plane that can't really carry all of us? That'd be pretty cool, right? No point really. They keep saying bullshit like, there ain't no tomorrow, Morrowland. don't you remember? I was like, what are you talking like that? This is so annoying. This is so annoying. They were talking like that. There was that one woman who like tried to leave, and Max is like, no, you can't leave, even though he's like just come to their place. She's like, I'm leaving, and he starts shooting her. He, like rigs up a fucking gun to shoot her with it. What the fuck are you doing? You can't do that to them. I just saved your life. I cut off all his hair as well. I was like, you can't do that. I don't know why they cut off all his hair, really. I thought it's kind of a violation. Kind of annoying. I was like, oh man, he looks so sick. Long, matted hair. And again, it's another one that sort of towards the end, they all get in their cars. I'm like, this is why we're here. To see them drive and do crazy shit in their cars. All that was kind of cool. But it just takes forever to fucking get there. But I mean, if you're going to throw the movie a bone, I thought the car designs were really cool. All that stuff was awesome. And the chase was pretty good as much as it kind of... I thought probably the scene itself I quite liked, although I wish they'd have structured it a bit better because I didn't really understand what was going on. Or like who was dying and who was killing people. So we're jumping onto the big sort of war rig. Yeah, the war rig as well. Ah, fucking cool shit, man.
That's the bit I remember the most for some reason. Probably because the most fuckery was going down at that point. It was just like chaos.
I just read a note. It said, Max punches that woman in the face when she tries to leave. Dude, what the fuck? First he like tries to shoot her, then he like goes up to her and just punches her directly in the face.
What a geezer.
I say, what a hero, indeed.
Classic male behaviour.
That was probably unscripted and unprompted. He probably just went ahead and did it.
Yeah, thanks, Mel.
I do actually like the way they like kind of close the character off in the movie. How he's kind of like just walking off into the desert. It's actually a pretty fitting like finale for the character.
Yeah, that's what makes him him. He's like going it alone. He's lone soldiering it, and he's sort of just out to survive.
Yeah, I think originally it was planned to be the last one. Then I think obviously like a decade or so later, he was like, "Nah, I want to do another one."
Oh,
but I think it would have worked as a conclusion for him.
Well, to be fair, if you
then
think
it just
about
kind of works as a conclusion for the Mel Gibson version of the character.
Yeah, and it also
fine by me.
Kind of works in with the newest one, in theory. If you watch them back to back, there's a slight crossover you could come to.
I
Not
guess,
that it matters, but if you wanted to do that, you could.
They all sort of work in a vacuum.
Mm.
That's quite good about them.
They are kind of all like separate movies that you can watch on their own. Don't really have to watch any of the previous movies to understand what's going on.
Although the second one is the only one that has a recap of the film that came before it.
And even that's pretty pointless because nothing's connected to that first story.
I like that though, because it gave me like Back to the Future vibe, where it's like, do you remember what happened in this movie? We'll tell you again.
Remember what happened? Cool. Thunderdome. Beyond. Thunderdome and Beyond.
What are you rating out of, boys?
Tina Turner's.
Go on, Tina.
It's the only one that works, right?
Probably not. There's probably others. But, yeah. Just don't like it at all. It's kind of like, I feel like it's quite a cliche thing to say because this is like widely considered like to be like one of those like bad sequels that a lot of people really don't like.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A lot of people
it.
Hated it when it came out. I think now it's gotten a bit of like people gone back and like look a bit more fondly on it. But yeah, I just don't really get anything out of it. I give it like 2 Tina Turners out of 10.
Jesus.
Probably closer to a 3, but I gave it 1 star on Letterboxd. I'm sticking to that.
This is crazy. It's actually quite good. I had a good time with it. You know, I don't know what to say. And I think probably if we'd watched it together, then we all probably would have got a bit more out of it and had a better time. But I think for now, I'll give it 6 Tina Turners out of 10.
2 Tina Turners. I have no comments.
Jesus.
That brings us to the last one, Mad Max Fury Road from 2015. Film, obviously, again, about Max. He's back.
Woo!
This time played by Tom Hardy instead.
Madder than ever.
He is madder than ever. He gets basically kidnapped by these crazy guys who are using him as a blood bag.
Yeah, the War Boys.
And then
War boys.
while they're off trying to do some shit, he escapes and joins this group of women who have also escaped from these bad guys and are on the run.
Yeah, through
Pretty
the
much
desert, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down the Fury Road.
Yeah.
The
Going
longest
straight.
road
basic plot.
ever. Mm.
You got Joe coming after them. Joe.
I'm still surprised that it was 2015. I actually thought it was so much later than that.
Yeah, looks quite new, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could have sworn it's from like 2018 or 19 or something. I'm still flabbergasted by it. I'll be honest.
I mean, it looks pretty incredible.
Yeah,
It does.
crazily good.
It
looking
held.
movie.
Pardon me. It's not that old, but when I say it holds up,
Holds up.
it holds up.
It's
You know
not
what I
that
mean?
old. It's 8 years.
No, but it looks like it could have come out like a year ago.
Yeah.
Is what
It's
I'm
because
trying to
it's
get.
like a mixture of practical and CGI. So I think it's like 85% practical or something.
I respect it.
and
I really do.
Yeah, it
It's
looks
a lot of
pretty
effort.
seamless.
Yeah. It is
There
lot
was a
of
few
effort.
bits where Darcy was like, "Oh my god, that looks so fake,"
It's mostly.
and I was
right.
just like, "It's just the saturation." She was
No,
like, "The fire." It was like,
Yeah,
"It
the
looks
fire
CGI."
looks really fake. I know. Obviously, it's not because when you, it's complicated. But like when you see like loads of like explosions and stuff in a movie, like you could tell that they're not real. But because this is real, it looks fake. It's really weird. But I
I don't know if
respect
you-
it though.
I don't know if you could tell that an explosion is not real in a movie. You can't always tell that.
No,
Sometimes you can.
yeah, it's just the way it looked. But I think it is just the
Sometimes with the ones that are like
Very
really good,
colorised.
you just wouldn't be able to tell. Right?
Yeah, of course.
It was also the fire coming out of the that guitar man. It was
fucking
like-
guitarist shredding it through the
Yeah.
whole thing on the
Yeah.
fucking
Geezer.
the amplifier
Yeah.
vehicle. It was so cool.
And the fire coming out the end of it did look fake, but apparently all the fire stuff is real, so I'm even more impressed.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, that's so
I think with this
impressive.
movie, George Miller was just kind of like, "Okay, here's what I've set up with the Mad Max universe. How can I make it just batshit
In it,
insane?"
I want to see what the budget for this bloody.
Probably fuck, Dan.
It's got to be so, especially if it's practical.
I don't know. I
So
feel like it's
high.
either really high or like ridiculously low.
I don't think it'll be low.
It's supposedly between 154 million and
Yeah, there you go.
185
So
million.
pretty huge.
Massive budget. They use every fucking penny of it though. You know, these are insane.
Yeah,
This
which
is probably
isn't
like
that
some of the
bad, is it?
best stunt work and like set pieces known to man.
Now I'm really
Yeah.
confused because it's just told me that the budget was about so many million, and then I look somewhere else and it now says it's 350,000 US.
I doubt that.
So I'm very confused. It sounds more likely to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's no
millions,
way
right?
that like
You can't
the
do this.
stars you
man.
got on this movie would have
It's-
charged
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
little.
like yeah,
It's in
I'm
the
looking.
millions.
Yeah, it can't be. Like, who's making a movie for that?
Tom
much
Hardy
money?
and Charlize Theron alone probably cost $1 million.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh
Pretty
yeah, I'm gonna
cheesy.
stick with my top search there. Then
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't do it with Mel Gibson anymore. But
he's too
Probably for the best.
controversial now.
too controversial, probably too old, I suppose.
Definitely.
I think Tom Hardy puts on a fucking brilliant one of it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
And
so
you
great.
know, if you were
He's-
going to get anyone to do it,
Yeah.
there's this sort of like kind of silent protagonist in a way who's kind of an anti-hero and
Mm.
Yeah.
he's just kind of out for himself and learns to be a better man as the movie goes on. He's really good at like facial acting and all that stuff with his eyes. So when like his face is covered for a lot of it,
Mm.
just like doing eye work. I
Yeah.
guess. He's really good at that stuff.
He does
Yeah.
a good job of like standing out over Mel Gibson. Doesn't feel like he's just doing like an impression of what Mel Gibson was doing in
No,
those
he brought
movies.
something new to it. I think.
He does.
I prefer him.
Yeah,
Oh,
same.
well, that goes without
It's
saying,
not
really,
like a
isn't it?
high
Like, yeah,
bar.
like, I don't
I
think that's a controversial statement to make, to be honest.
I think Mel Gibson is good as Mad Max in terms of like what those movies were going for. In terms of what this movie is going for, is definitely a bit more. I don't know if meditative is the right word, but definitely more in terms of his character. He's a lot more haunted, I guess.
Yeah, he also seems a bit more like scrambled, a lot more insane. Like actually
Fucked up,
scrambled.
yeah.
Yeah.
got some dark history,
Yeah.
dark past,
That's true.
probably a family that he let down back in the day. Starts and it's like, my name is Max, and I was a cop. Now I'm a road warrior and looking for a righteous cause.
He's like, I used to be Mel Gibson, I'm not anymore.
It's such a fucking sick introduction, man.
Oh yeah,
So
I was
good.
like, when the title came up, I was like, whoa, that looks so cheesy. And I was like, is the rest of the film cheesy? And Chris was like, no, not really. And I was like, oh, okay. Was it this film that you said this was a bad title card, or was it a different one? I liked the title card for this one. I like the way they did
cool.
it. I thought it was fun.
With the fucking
Yeah.
door, he like
And it
gets
goes,
captured
"Phew!"
again, and he's like closed the doors, and it's like, man, Max, Fury Road.
I thought it was sick.
It's so
I
cool,
liked it
man.
a lot, actually.
It's so cool. This whole movie is fucking sick. This is I lost count of the amount of times I watched this movie. It's such a fun movie. It's one of my favourite movies of all time.
The funnest movie.
It is immensely fun. Just like some of the best action in any movie, I think.
Yeah, you're
Like,
not
what
the
a-
only one
probably-
to say that, to be fair.
It is probably the best action movie I've seen, just from my own personal preference. It's hard to beat in terms of the spectacle of it. And you know what I'm saying about these other movies that I wish they would just focus a bit more on the cars and the driving. This is the one, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Because they are always driving and they're always on the road. It's so sick. And you get like the characters as well who aren't even... They're actually decent characters.
Yeah.
You want to see them succeed and you want them to achieve their goals. And when one of them like dies, you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. It's like one step back for them. And you're like, oh, I really want them to, I want this to happen for them. And they allude to like this sort of green place. We're going to the green place. Where you don't know if it's actually real throughout the whole thing. But it was kind of more about there's more of an underlying message to this movie than I think there is to the other movies, where what's on the surface is just what it is. This one's definitely more about feminism, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is crazy because it's such a fucking bombastic, kind of stereotypical masculine, hyper masculine type action stuff going on. You would more equate to like men loving this shit. And I'm a man and I love this shit, but it's like, it's also about these women most of the time trying to get away from their oppressors and like slowly discovering that, if they're gonna try to find freedom, it's not like a place that they need to get to. It's that they have to take their own freedom and they have to take it from their oppressors. Like it's probably about that, a lot of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Chris and I had a very almost philosophical discussion about this movie, purely because I was like, oh, everyone loves this movie, and then Chris was like, yeah, but there's a few people that hate it because it's too woke.
I heard
and I was
a
like,
lot
what
of
do you
people
mean?
say they wokeified this franchise by making it all
Wokeified.
about women and like basically making Furiosa the main character over Mad Max. I saw a lot of complaints about that when it first came out. I still
Grow
see it
up.
every once in a while.
I mean, grow up.
Yeah,
I don't
grow
know.
up.
I don't think it's that deep, to be honest. Like,
But was he not
Yeah,
sidelined in all those other movies?
exactly. Like
For
he was,
other more
he
interesting characters.
The
Yeah, I
only
don't
time he
think
was a
just,
main
like,
character was the first
complaining.
one, basically.
People just like complaining about things that are like this, I guess.
because they don't like women in these masculine movies because their egos are bruised or something. Boring.
They don't like women in these masculine movies unless the masculine movies came out years prior and they're already a big fan of it.
Or I don't know. Maybe Furiosa
nude.
wasn't sexy enough.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's not
If
enough
it's
boobie in
nude
this
and it's all
movie.
part of the woke agenda,
Yeah.
that's just how it works.
Oh no, look, she's got a short buzz cut. Ugh, hate it.
Yeah. She looks sick. She looks so cool.
She does look sick.
With fucking
Mm.
the where she would like rub her finger on like the oil and like smear her face with it, like a war paint. And I love how they kind of set up these antagonists as the war boys.
War boys.
War boys, come on, crazy war boys.
Sorry, who thought about Wild Boys though? Was I the only one?
the old Duran Duran.
Yeah.
And they're really cool, I think, as like a villain type of sect, where their whole life is cars. And I think that's probably what this franchise needs, is like, if you're gonna lean more into like the driving is everything, man, the cars are everything, you need to make it like a religion for these people.
Oh, what, like you got to get the rev heads, as they call them.
yeah, like the
or
rev
whatever,
and they're saying they're literally like taking influence from like the Viking mythology of like Valhalla. They say they want to die
Yeah.
historic on the Fury Road, and if they die in sort of battle, as it were, to
They'll-
die in a car and on the Fury Road,
Yeah, they'll
you
go
get sent to
heaven.
Valhalla.
Yeah.
You know, they're
I
always
thought that
like
bit was sick.
shiny and chrome, and like everything's like pure when you're on the road. They would like spray their teeth and their mouths with like
Ugh.
this chrome
Silver
spray
paint,
paint,
yeah.
and just like, witness me, witness,
Yes.
and fucking like do some sick fucking car flip, and they just
Mm.
completely crash out. It's so sick, man. It's so sick.
All of the action, I think, is so well done. It's crazily well directed.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of thing I feel like can only be done by someone who's been doing this as long as George Miller has.
Yeah. Again, I guess there's a lot of respect that goes into how it's actually made. But this is exactly the kind of movie that I don't it doesn't go to a level of hate, but you know how like people are like, you know how it's like people are interested in it. I'm not interested in like cars and drag racing and all this other kind of shit. Well,
Right, yeah,
not that
I
kind
mean-
of drag race, but like, it doesn't really interest me. But I respect it as it is, because it was really like, it was
I don't
like
think there's
insane.
anything
Like
wrong with that.
everything about it just looked amazing. But I wasn't interested in it. Like I just didn't really.
It's not your cup of tea.
No, that's what I mean.
Mm.
It's not for me. But at the same time,
Well, you're
I
not
can
big
see
in
why
action,
people
right?
love it. Because it was. Yeah, I'm not an action person, but I appreciated how much effort and how like I can see why people love it, because it is insane and it's great to look at. It's visually quite stimulating, actually. There's nothing about it that's like necessarily to not like, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's just not interesting for me, if that makes
I
sense.
would say I'm not a huge fan of action, but if it's done well, then I have a lot of respect and love for it, and it's one that I think is done really well. I would say it is one of the best action movies
I think it's the
ever
best
made, especially
one.
of the last decade.
It's the best one I've ever seen, but then I don't know how many action movies I've actually seen in my life, to tell you the truth. But I would say this is probably the best one.
Yeah, completely agree. I'm not into cars like whatsoever at all. I'm not gonna watch a movie just because it has a car.
No,
in
me
it.
neither.
We're not the Fast and
But-
Furious franchise lovers over here. are
Something
we?
about this, man, that it gets me going. It's like a combination of like the cinematography and like the technicality of it is like so on point.
Yeah, it's mad.
You
isn't it?
want it's also about the story, and you want to see these characters succeed. So when like a car flips over, you're like, oh shit, that's a win for them, or that's a loss for them. Somebody dies, or like, they take a hit. The sound design is immaculate. I think it's like amazing. Watch this with headphones. It's just so fucking well done.
I bet that must have been like just
Beautiful
a
stuff,
lot, you
man.
know.
Yeah. I think it helps that as well that it's more than just cars. They're
Yeah.
like
Yeah, there's more
they're
happening,
vehicles
yeah.
that are like specially designed and crafted for this movie.
They're like bloody monster truck looking motherfuckers,
Yeah.
isn't they? They're
But it's
mad.
not like- So like a Fast and Furious movie where they pretty much just take
drive
some cars
Ferraris
that already
and stuff.
exist.
Yeah,
They
Bugattis and
they
that.
actually do something a bit interesting. There's
Yeah,
like,
they, like,
actual
pimp 'em out to look really
personality to
cool.
these vehicles and shit. And I think that adds to it a lot as well.
Definitely super well designed. They go through like the different parts of the desert. You see like the different tribes, and they're all on like their different kind of vehicles. You got the spiky guys with the spiky vehicles. They were sick, man. Or like the other people who were on their motorbikes and all that. You got like Immortan Joe in his fucking huge
Yeah.
monster truck, which is massive wheels.
He was sick.
Yeah,
There
he's
was
a great
something
villain.
about him that was just like I'm almost rooting for the villain here, because for some reason he was like,
He's bloody good.
yeah, he was like encapsulating, wasn't he, a little bit? To be honest, I was like, oh, okay.
He got these women pregnant, and he's just like farming
Oh, he's a
other women
freak,
for like
isn't he?
milk, and just got these other women just to have his children.
And
Oh
men
my
for
God.
soldiers as well.
Yeah.
The warlords, to be exact. Yeah.
It's crazy, man. And he's
Yeah,
like
that's ma-
hoarding all like the water resources as well. It was like also like a comment on like capitalism.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
fucking crazy.
Hell yeah,
like all
hell
the
yeah.
stuff this movie is able to do, and you could probably just boil it down to being like a dumb car movie, but it's got so much more going on to it, and that's why it's probably regarded as being so impressive and really well done.
Mm.
It's not just about these huge set pieces, which are bloody impressive on their own.
insane.
But, you know, just everything else around that's surrounding it is
Yeah.
also, you can't just have these crazy set pieces. I mean, they're fun to look at,
Mm.
but when you don't have you have a 2-hour movie and the plot is not there, you're going to get bored. But I mean, the plot, for me at least, really enjoy it. I want to see them
I feel like
succeed, and I want.
Doesn't this one this one speaks where most of the because I've seen the Fast and Furious franchise, not every single one of them, because there's like 90,000 of them. I've seen like the first 3 or 4, and I would say that this film alone says more in the plot than the other ones ever did. Does that make sense? Like it's a car movie, but it actually has a story, whereas Fast and Furious is a car movie for the sake of being a car movie. I'm probably going to get lynched for saying that by someone, but I'll die on that hill. I don't think they really have a story.
I don't know. I watched F9.
Didn't you laugh at F9? That's just hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it was dumb as shit. I hated that movie. But yeah, it's like there's like no comparison
Is that like,
whatsoever.
it's like a no-brainer, really, isn't it? Like it's just if you're gonna do it, this is how you should do it, right?
Well, exactly. Got these crazy characters coming in. You know, like that guy who was like dressed just in bullets.
Yeah.
And who was like, who like came to the aid of Immortan Joe, and he was like, "I'll get him for you, boys. Let's go." And he takes a fucking bullet out of his mouth, and it was like serving as a tooth for him, and he loads his gun with it. And he's like, "This one's for Furiosa," and he fucking loads the gun. And I'm like, "Holy shit, it's so cool."
My favourite guy is the guitar guy. He's pretty sick.
He's great. Fucking hell, he's good. He looked weird as hell. I was like, what the fuck have they done to this guy? His face was like fucked up.
I really love Nicholas Holt's character as well. I think he's really good.
Great. Yeah.
I think he has a really great arc, like kind of like turning from being like bad to like possibly having a heart and being.
Yeah. He's kind of released from a cult
Yeah.
in a type of way, where he wants to be victorious and on the Fury Road and go down as historic, and his ultimate goal is just to like die, basically. But he kind of turns that around and realizes that his whole life was like a lie, and the person he looked up to was just like, he didn't really care about him. There was all this like god worship around Immortan Joe, who was just a man at the end of the day. I fucking love the scene where like Furiosa takes him out, and she's like, "Remember me," and she fucking grabs his on the chain and like puts the chain through the wheel that's going, and it tears his mask off, and it's fucking sick, man. It's so sick. Oh dear. It's really great. And him as a character was just like, there's not a better villain in any of these movies.
No, definitely.
They really thought about it, like really, really went in with it.
Yeah, well, I think this is the only time they really do a good job of developing villain.
Absolutely. Yeah. You gotta love all like the weird imagery that comes with like a post-apocalyptic world as well. Where I know you were saying about like the fire and all that didn't look real. But I was sort of like, well, does it not look real, or is it possibly even just like a product of how fucked up this world is?
Yeah, I think
at the moment. It's like balls to the wall in terms of like how much they show in such a short space of time, if you want to call it a short space of time. It goes by like nothing for me. But like in like, even like in like the first couple of scenes, they like ride through this like sandstorm. And there's like cars like getting whipped up by the fucking storm.
For me, that's like the best like bit in the whole series. That's
so
sequence.
Cool. Oh, it's awesome. Fire's going everywhere. It becomes this fire tornado.
Like cutting to the black and white for a couple frames at a time as well. It's really sick.
It's so cool, man. They would go through this weird sort of swamp place, and they look at these like creatures that are like on sticks or like stilts or whatever. You're like, what the fuck is that? They're clearly just like weird creatures that have formed as a product of this weird apocalypse that they've gone through. And they never really explain it, but I think that probably works in the movie's favour. It's just like, yeah, there's some fucked up fallout, you know?
Something I do really appreciate about this movie is like you go back and watch the second movie, and it's quite easy to see like what has come since it that's been like heavily influenced by it. It's like rewatching Road Warrior, I like see like elements of like the Fallout games, or, like the Borderlands games, or like loads of other like post-apocalyptic movie shit. Whereas this, I don't really see that at all, because I think they do such a good job of trying to kind of create something completely.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, yeah, they are like, this is a staple franchise. Everybody knows about Mad Max. As much as you might not like the series, I'm sure you've heard of it. But it is, and this is like a culmination of everything that worked in those movies kind of coming to a head, and George Miller being at the top of his game. You know, he came back, he was like, I've done Happy Feet, now it's time to do Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, yeah.
Babe Pig in the City.
Babe Pig in the City, I did that as well.
What a man.
All this took me here, and this is all culminated in this. It's still got that quintessentially Australian vibe to it as well, and like I probably enjoyed the fact that he still sort of set it in an Australian landscape, because it is about that as well.
Yeah.
It's about like being in
Six-switch
Australia and
roots.
like living in Australia, sort of as like an environment, I think.
Well, if you're gonna use like the great big outbacks to do all these like epic, chase scenes and stuff, I don't think anywhere else could have been big enough to do it anyway. In theory,
Yeah, Australia's got that history as well.
yeah,
It's quite
and it's
quite
like proper
interesting.
orange.
Yeah.
Well, it's not orange; it's more like like
such
reddish,
a
but you know what I
lovely
mean? Yeah,
contrast between like the sky at all times and the sand. It's just like this blue, yellow, and it's just like, that's what stands out. There's not a single shot in this movie that isn't like, fucking hell, man. Like, lovely.
It is the most colourful movie I've seen in like the longest time.
Don't get it on 4K though. The 4K sucks.
No, I've heard it's too orange. Like
too orange,
it
yeah.
becomes almost.
I bought the 4K one time, and
Everyone
I was
becomes
like,
a what's it?
oh, what the fuck is this? And I took it straight back immediately.
Well.
Oh dear.
And then
Yeah.
yesterday, the audio for your Blu-ray didn't work.
That annoyed me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to throw that away. Get a better copy of that. I don't know what the fuck's going on with this. But yeah,
Just doomed with this movie.
yeah. So that's annoying. It's one of my favorite movies ever. I want like a fucking good copy of it that I can watch. But yeah, did you like how one of the girls was named Toast?
I didn't even know
No,
what
you
it was
didn't.
called.
People like
Toast.
insane names. Furiosa, that's sick. But then there's like Toast.
Cool name. Everyone loves toast.
That's true. I guess so. I guess so. Oh dear. And I like them as just like characters who you
Yeah.
follow. Like Riley Keough was good. And is it Zoe Kravitz?
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know they were in this movie like until rewatching it, because I
Yeah.
think I didn't know about them when watching it
Mhm.
last.
Yeah,
It's been since I watched it last time, they've both kind of blown up as actresses.
Yeah, huge names in this. Really insane stuff. And yeah, and I love just like sort of towards the end when they're trying to get to this green place and they just come to like nothing, and it's just like a stick in the sand.
Yeah.
Where this woman's like just like one woman there, she's naked and she's crying. It's like that's sort of what it's about, isn't it? And they have to be
Very
like,
much.
you know, you could go that way, where you probably find nothing, or you could go back and take back what is rightfully yours, and that's probably the biggest through line of the movie and sort of what the themes are about. I think that there is no promised land. You know, got to take it for yourself. Be your own keeper. Great movie. And I can't understate how fucking brilliant Tom Hardy is on it. I know we talked about it, but
Yeah, he's good.
he's
I think everyone's great in this movie, to be fair.
yeah, honestly. And you know, he, as much as he's like a silent sort of protagonist, he doesn't really say much. Sometimes I thought like you could like tell it was like ADR'd. They'd ADR'd him when he was like on the front of that car, and he was like, "That was my head." And it's like you just said that in post. It was
I didn't even notice that kind of stuff.
pretty funny. It's sort of like weird that it like went at odds against like his own character, who was sort of silent. Whenever he like said something, I was like, or like he shouted something, or he said something with a bit too much emotion, I'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like when he was talking not towards the end, but they were like talking about how they were going to get back to somewhere. And I was like, this is the most he's said in like this whole movie, and it feels weird to me.
Mhm. He's great at that, man. Such a good actor for that. Him and like Ryan Gosling is good for that as well. It's like sort of silent,
Yeah,
protagonist
definitely.
type of actors. who you get so much from just their physical performance. They're really ones to. They're up there, I would say.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, George. You really brought it home for us.
Yeah.
Made this marathon worth doing.
Excited for the next 2 Mad Max movies.
Yeah.
Got The Wasteland coming out in a few years. And you got the Furiosa prequel next year. Anya Taylor-Joy playing Furiosa. Be pretty sick.
It's going to be great. They're all going to be great, honestly. If they're even kind of as good as this.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he can only get better as a director.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about that film he put out last year, 3,000 Years Longing or something.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard quite mixed things, but it seems like the people that like it really love it.
Yeah. I want to watch that, Idris Elba, Tilda Swinton. How could it not be good?
Yeah. I think it's on Prime now, actually.
There we go.
Yeah.
Time to watch that. Thanks, George.
Okay,
We're going to rate this one out of Furiosas.
Fair. Let's do it.
Sure. Yeah, this is a really great movie. It's definitely, if not one of the best action movies of all time, at least of the last decade. Yeah, not really much else to add that's not already been said. Give it 8 Furiosas out of 10.
Oh look, he's gone back up to 8
nice
now,
one,
has he?
baby.
Yeah, I dropped my rating down after rewatching it, but the more I thought about it, I was like,
Exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. If you just watch these movies with me, and you'll be all right, and you'll get a lot more out of them. Oh God, it's so good. It's so fucking good. Lost count of the amount of times I've watched it, as I said. But it is sort of one I'm never lamenting putting on. I could watch it at any time. It is one of those movies. It's like a comfort movie, in a way. Just so fucking good the whole way through. Not a dull moment. Love it so much. Can't wait for the next ones. And just to see where George Miller takes it, because it's a really interesting world when he tries to develop it a bit more. Yeah, love it. 10 Furiosas out of 10. One of the best out there. You all right?
It was cool. 7 Furiosas out of 10.
Okay.
put that on the poster.
Fucking anticlimax. Jesus. Darcy says, it was cool. From the Sunday Movie Marathon.
I guess it was only because I already went on the spiel about how I don't really like action movies and stuff. So I thought I've already done the legwork there.
Let's hope the action genre doesn't come up on the wheel today.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Every movie's getting a straight
I like
half star.
The quote at the end that said, I forget
the
where
one
it
that was
from.
on the screen. That was great. Yeah.
Where must we go, we who wander this wasteland in search of our better selves?
And then it had like a lovely little question mark at the end. And I was like, I like that.
Thank you. Thank you for that quote. Cool.
Yeah.
It's Mad Max, baby. We did them all.
We
did them.
We're officially back now.
We are back, baby. Better than ever. Historic on the Fury Road. We got another marathon to do next week, and we are definitely coming back next week. Chris is going to spin a wheel. He's going to tell us exactly what we're going to watch. We'll see how it goes. You got a little speaker there so we can hear it.
Or not.
I love
or
it.
not.
Oh my god, this is so extreme.
It disconnected from the speaker.
Well, you know what? I'll
This is
just
shit, innit?
clap, and then you can edit it together and be like, all right. So it's like,
I think the speaker might have died, actually.
okay, I'm not going to do it.
Let's come up with John Hughes movies.
Who?
I'm going to say no, because I
Well, he
watched
The
The Breakfast
Breakfast
Club a
Club,
couple of
man.
days
Yeah.
ago.
No, sorry, John. Maybe another time.
I like his movies as well.
Now I'm doing it again.
This is
Maybe
like
I
the
can try the
action he does.
speaker.
He did Ferris Bueller, didn't he?
Yeah.
And
He only has 5 or 6 movies.
they're
Oh,
all
lame.
the Brat Pack movies, basically.
They're all good.
Yeah, they're all great.
Oh,
The fuck was that?
Jesus.
That was not the wheel. The wheel does not endorse this. Didn't like that. That was creepy.
Whoa.
Let's come up with another director. Krzysztof Kieslowski.
Who?
Krzysztof Kieslowski is one of my favourites.
Who? Christoph who? How do I even spell
Can we
that?
not do a director though?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Polish film director. We're just
I know
gonna
it's
have to
not
deal
conducive
with it,
to
yeah, this is
a
this is
randomizer,
awful.
but we do it to ourselves.
I know.
This is the one. We have to watch this one.
Right.
Karate Kid.
We're watching Karate Kid.
Okay.
Oh, what are those?
Oh,
You don't know.
What, the Karate Kid?
Okay.
look.
As opposed to what? What would
I mean,
you mean?
there's at least 3 of them.
Okay.
There
Do we have to watch
are-
the fucking Jaden Smith one?
No.
Okay, good.
How many are there?
Karate Kid
Wait,
film
there's
series.
There's 4,
4.
not including the Jaden Smith one.
So we're going to watch 4.
But I think the 4th one's like basically completely unrelated.
The next
so-
Karate Kid. Yeah, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah,
Should we
there's
just do a
part 1,
trilogy then?
part
We'll
2,
just do
Yeah,
the
just
part
do the
3.
trilogy.
Yeah.
Karate Kid trilogy. That's going to be the Karate Kid Part 2, and the Karate Kid Part 3
yes.
from the 80s. Thanks for that. See you then when we discuss all that and a few more.
They're all on Netflix unless they get taken off before we do the marathon.
We better get it
Which
going, baby.
Netflix is pretty likely.
Yeah. Cool. So that brings us to the end. Thank you for listening. And what do I usually do? I don't know. I feel like I usually do something.
Shout the socials.
Shout the socials. Go follow them.
They're out there.
They're out there. You find them. Just listen
Yeah,
to the end.
we're too tired today.
Listen to the end of the
we-
last episode,
yeah.
and you probably find out what they are. Yeah. Any last words?
Thanks, Max.
Thanks, Max.
Thanks. I'm so tired.